Oh, happy Monday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be previewing the 2024 NBA Finals. My name is David On Point Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we give you guys basically daily content across all of our platforms. But yeah, thank you very much for checking us out. TJ, happy Monday, my friend. How are you?
It's Monday.
So you're doing fantastic is what I'm hearing?
When am I ever fantastic on a Monday?
All right, fine. But yeah, we're going to break down the NBA Finals. Who are you more surprised? All right, this is a kind of a stupid question, but how surprised are you that Dallas made it to the Finals? Because everybody thought that Boston would be here, or most people.
Honestly, not surprised at all. Dallas was always one of those dark horse teams that people talk about that actually did what dark horses do. They actually shocked the
Showed up.
people. Yeah, like they shocked a few people. They beat some people that probably they weren't supposed to. I think out of their first, I don't think they were they favored in any of their series matchups? Maybe the Clippers. No.
Maybe the Clippers, but a lot of people picked the Clippers to win that series,
Right.
including myself.
A lot of people picked the Clippers to win that one. I think a lot of people picked
Oklahoma City
to beat them, and a lot of people definitely picked
Minnesota after what they did to the defending champs. Yeah,
a lot of people definitely picked Minnesota to beat them, and lo and behold, here we are. This is one of those dark horse teams did what they were supposed to do. Preseason MVP favorite did MVP things, and now he.
Yeah, let's swing right into it. So Boston 1 seed, Dallas the 5 seed out west. They had 14 more wins than the Dallas Mavericks. They eliminated the Pacers in 4 games. Mavericks dispatched of the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5. The Celtics actually swept the season series against these two teams, but I don't think they played it since the trade deadline. And I think they played both of their matchups came in so they did play a game in March, which is before the trade deadline, but yeah, I don't really know what the situation is with there. So let's talk about it a little bit. Let's start with some position breakdowns. Let's start with the point guard position. If you had to give an edge to one of the two teams when it comes to the point guard position, obviously you got Luka for the Dallas Mavericks. On the other side, you got Drew Holiday.
Luka.
I mean that's like one of the easiest ones on the whole thing, right?
Luka. I understand Drew Holiday is a better defender than Luka. That's really not saying much, considering
Luka was a pretty good defender at times during this stretch into the finals.
Absolutely, and I think the one thing that people tend to forget is Luka is huge.
Yeah.
Luka's a big human being. Luka every bit of 6'7", 6'8", And I understand what Izzy's trying to say in the group chat. They got defenders to lock all this shit up. Y'all understand? You do understand, Luke? There's nothing you can throw at Luka that can knock him off his game.
I mean, the dude's been playing professional basketball since he was 14 years old. Like, he played in the championship 10 years ago. He's only 24 years old.
You can put Drew on him. Drew is too small height wise. Like, Drew ain't nothing but like 6'4". All right, so
well, I mean that matchup's probably going to have to be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Like, they're going to have to be the ones that guard. One of those two guys guard.
And then you run the risk of putting one of those two dudes in foul trouble, which, let's be honest, it can happen. I'm pretty sure Pace is causing hell over there. Pace is right.
I forgot to turn all my lights on before I started the show, so the lights all jacked up, and it's pissing me off. Like, I usually have a backlight back there lit. I usually have this other light lit. But the front door of my apartment is just wide open. Hold on.
So if you look at the numbers that Luka's putting up, he's the statistical leader in the playoffs. He leads the league in playoffs in points. He leads the playoffs in rebounds. He leads the playoffs in assists. He leads the playoffs 3-pointers made. Luka is doing it all right now. And if you look at the numbers that Dirk went on like 14 years ago, no, how long ago the 2011 run was?
Oh man, don't do that.
It's just saying. Like,
no, I'm just saying. Don't make me think about stuff that was that long ago. How old I'm getting.
Like look at the numbers that Luka's putting up versus the numbers that Dirk. That was an all-time great run that Dirk went on. And you got Luka on the same thing.
Yeah, dude's been fucking putting up crazy numbers. Like, I apologize for him, but the numbers are insane. I know there's a Facebook post here. Yeah, he's in the playoffs so far. He's number one in points, rebounds, assists, steals, triple doubles, double doubles, 3-pointers made, fields, and game winners.
Everything.
So he's putting in the work, that's for sure. Swinging into the next matchup, I think is a little more interesting, but not really. Kyrie Irving going up against Derek White. Derek White has been a very valuable player for the Boston Celtics. A lot of people criticized that trade when Boston made it, giving up a first-round pick and Romeo Langford. But that's proven to be a really smart move. And he's been one of the most valuable players shooting the ball and defensively. He's just a scrappy player. But obviously going up against the bus driver and Kyrie Irving at the shooting guard position.
I think they more so criticized the first round pick. There was no one criticizing them giving up Romeo Langford.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, give me Kyrie over Derek White. I hear an echo. I hear myself on your end.
That shouldn't be.
And give me Kyrie over Derek White again. I get Derek. You can say Derek White's a better defender. We ain't finna act like Kyrie can't hurt you at all three aspects. So you gonna have, these guards, Drew and Derek White, they gonna have their work cut out for them. They are going to have their work cut out for them. Like, there's no easy nights. There, no game's gonna be over. With these two dudes, they can go. We literally just saw them outscore the entire Timberwolves starting five
for most of the game. I mean, it didn't work out that way in the end. But yeah, we gotta go Kyrie Irving there too. I think Kyrie Irving, his tenure in Dallas has been nothing short of sensational. At least this season, they missed the playoffs last year, but this has been a really good pairing. We had people like during the broadcast on TNT talking about this being the greatest backcourt duo ever. I think pump the brakes on that just a little bit. Offensively, offensive backcourt ever. I still say pump the brakes a little bit on that, but it's going to be offensive backcourt in the history of the league.
In terms pumping on what can
I think they haven't really accomplished anything yet. I mean, let's see them win a title.
They're talking about skill. See, that's y'all problem. Y'all think backcourt in history. It's like, they didn't win anything. We're strictly speaking on skill. People were so quick to say, "Well, both Steph and Clay." Clay can't dribble the ball like Kyrie can.
No, but nobody can. He's the bus driver for a reason.
When they said best, they were strictly speaking on basketball skills. Luka can handle the ball. Kyrie can handle the ball. They can both shoot. They can both Kyrie rebounds very well for his size. Kyrie has a post game. What's 6'4" guy got a post game?
Not that many.
Exactly, Kyrie Irving, and he's a better defender than a lot of people give him credit for.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole package on Kyrie Irving. I mean, he averaged 5 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game too. Swinging it
6'4".
Yeah, so swinging in from there, we got the small forward and power forward matchup. We got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum going up against Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington. Also, I guess another one that's pretty easy to just kind of pick the two Boston guys because they're arguably the best duo in the NBA.
Yeah, and again, like it's really like short conversation. Tatum, again, the issue with Tatum and Brown is y'all gotta win. Y'all can't y'all keep being what's that
made a runner up, maid of honor instead of the bride.
Yeah, all of it. Like y'all keep being like the belle of the ball, but you ain't getting picked. Like at this point, I don't care that y'all make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't care that y'all make it back to the finals. Y'all got to start winning. Like,
I mean, yeah, this team is too talented, and there's too much money being spent to just continue coming up short, especially in a pretty weak Eastern Conference, especially this season. I mean,
exactly. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like,
people penciled in Boston to go to the finals before the season even started.
Like, it was just the ice on the cake that they went 64-18. It was wire to wire. They had the best record in baseball from the start till now. And Tatum Brown over Derrick Jones and PJ Washington. Yes, of course. Now on the flip side, it's obviously like if you're Derrick Jones and PJ Washington, y'all gonna have the same problems that Drew and Derek White gonna have. Hey, hands full. It's gonna be some long nights. Your saving grace is I think it's somehow easier to take Tatum and Brown out of their game, what they want to do, versus it is Luka and Kyrie.
Especially Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic does not get rattled. Like he literally does not. He just doesn't. I mean, we've seen games where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been off their game. Not so much Brown because he just seems so stoic all the time, but Jason Tatum can be rattled.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. Side note. Jaylen Brown has some words for Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith read a text from a guy that said that Jaylen Brown's not marketable because of the stoicism. And Jaylen Brown's like, "Oh, state your source." Like, bro, y'all got to understand something. Journalists never state their source. You want to get kicked out of the game? That's how you get kicked out of the game. Like when a journalist is on national TV or anything, even newspaper reporters, when they say sources tell me, that means they can't say who said it. Because why? Because you want to keep going back to that source. That's not them just making shit up.
Yeah.
Like y'all gotta understand the game. Like that's the game. Like, oh, put a name to it. I can't because I want to keep going back to this person.
I mean, you want to go back to the well. You want to have like we have off the record sources at my station all the time. Like the people that like, hey, we're gonna tell you this information, but you have to get it elsewhere.
Exactly.
Like you have to source it. Like you're not allowed to source me it. Like you have to get this information somewhere else. But yeah, I think Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, I was picked there. Those guys have to play well if the Celtics want to, hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy. And then we got the last matchup at center, Kristaps Porzingis, who's projected to play in Game 1. That's the rumor on the street. But going up against Daniel Gafford, you can kind of just put Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford both here as they both basically play the same amount of minutes, and they bring a lot to the similar stuff to the table, with Derek Lively being a little bit of a better playmaker. But if you're talking about just Daniel Gafford and Porzingis, who has the advantage there? Because I think that Porzingis offers a really interesting dynamic for the Boston Celtics that that the Dallas Mavericks have not gone up against yet. Like he's a 7'2" guy who can stretch the floor and pull that whoever that blocking defender is, whether it be Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively, away from the rim. And I will be interested to see like how that impacts Dallas's defense, because they haven't played against anybody like this. Like Rudy Gobert wasn't like this. Oklahoma City did. Yeah, but they used PJ Washington to guard him. Or Derek Jones Jr. But like in the Oklahoma City series, I mean, he had Chet Holmgren, but he's still pretty young and a rookie. And then the Clippers, they didn't have anyone that could really stretch the floor at the 5 position and shoot threes. So I think the Porzingis factor is one of the more interesting the dynamics of this series, and he could be the deciding factor who wins and who loses.
Well, I've been saying it for the longest. I don't no KP, no ring, because he is that value. Like people want to shit on Kristaps Porzingis. But people don't understand, like, having that guy on your floor literally opens everything else for everyone else. Kind of like Karl Anthony Towns, I do wish they utilized KP in the post a lot more. Like, bro, you're 7'4". You're 7'4". Like, I don't care how athletic Daniel Gafford is. I don't care how athletic Derek Lively is. They ain't blocking 7'4". They're just not.
He's 7'2". Victor Wembanyama's
whatever. 7'2" with a 9-foot wingspan. Who cares? Point is still valid. Isn't it? Like if Porzingis puts his mind to it and they play through him in the post, bro. Like you got to establish that. I understand like what you said. Like, hey, you want to have KP to pull people from the rim, like pull Gafford from the rim, pull Lively from the rim, because that opens up rebounding opportunities for everyone else, like an Al Horford or somebody like that. But at some point in time, like, hey, KP, stop shooting, get on the block, please. Like, shoot a mid-range turnaround, do something. Don't just fuck. And that's the kryptonite of the Celtics. They shoot and make more threes than anybody, but they take more threes than anybody. Like, what's going to happen when they go a 7-minute stretch without hitting the three and Dallas is making shots? Because we saw that happen.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that happen in various series where, Boston, they lost that game to Miami Heat when they had that historic shooting game. They lost that game to the Cleveland Cavaliers when they shot the basketball well. All those things could be potentially but Porzingis is the better option at the center position out of those guys.
I mean, just because of health and wealth, I gotta go with Gafford and Lively. I know having KP is massive, but how healthy is he really gonna be with this thing? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, he took part in shoot arounds, so I in practice rehab drills. I know, TJ, I know.
Like, shoot around, not a game. Shoot around, not that's not full.
I mean, he's been out. He's been out for over almost 3 weeks, right? And like 429 is the last game he played. It's been over a month since he's played basketball.
Shoot around, like, I get that, but shoot around, like, Al Horford ain't trying to take his head off the way Daniel Gafford gonna try to take his head off.
True. Speaking of that, let's talk about the bench here. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics bench and the Dallas Maverick bench. Boston headlined by Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Al Horford, Luke Cornett, O'Shea Brissett, Xavier Tillman, who gets some minutes out of that. And then on Dallas side, they got Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway Jr., who really didn't play a ton during the Minnesota series.
He's going to play a lot now.
Maxi Kleber, who finally came back from his injury. And then we got Dwight Powell, who plays a little bit here and there. Derek Lively, the second, obviously, is the key contributor when it comes to the backup big. Dante Exum, who plays sparingly as well. It's really more about Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, Derek Lively, the second, versus Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Al Horford.
Based off that, and what we see it's got to be Boston, mostly because like they got guys off that bench that can get hot, like it's nothing. And if you're you look at you said something interesting, like Tim Hardaway Jr. didn't really play a lot last series, right, against Minnesota. We saw Maxi Kleber play mostly because Derek Lively got banged up. He got hit in the
So
head.
same thing with Norman. Same thing with Powell. Dwight Powell.
Same,
He only played.
same thing. Right, same thing with Dwight Powell. So like that's that whole that like as a pro, like that's the hey, match styles make fights, matchups make fights. They gonna play a lot more this series than they did the last series because Boston kind of tailors to how Tim Hardaway and them play. Tim Hardaway, we ain't finna sit here and act like Tim Hardaway is not a capable NBA starter in this league. We ain't finna sit here and act like Tim Hardaway can't get hot with the best of them. We've seen him do it.
Yeah, and I think Dante Exum's going to play a lot in this series too.
Strict, like you said something about him being their best on-ball defender. Well, he finna have a chance to prove it because they gonna need him. Same thing. Jaden Hardy. I love the fact that Jaden Hardy got opportunities against Minnesota. He took it.
He took advantage of it. He played well.
He played very well, and I'm all like, I love the fact that he's doing that. Boston's bench, hey y'all, keep doing what you're doing. If you're if you're the Celtics, you're hoping KP comes back because that allows your rotation to go back to
what it should be.
You don't want, and I respect the hell out of you don't want 38-year-old happy birthday Al Horford guarding Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford for 48 minutes. You don't want that. That's going to
it is Al Horford's birthday. Happy birthday, Al Horford. Let's go.
Eventually the old man gonna run out of gas and it's gonna be like, yeah, like, hey, like you're gonna be asking Al Horford, hey man, can you give me 5 minutes? You got 5 more minutes. And the true pro, he gonna say, yeah, but the bench, I gotta go with Boston's bench just because of the bigger collective.
I gotta disagree with you. I think Dallas's bench is better. Derek Lively again. Derek Lively the second. Josh Green, Jaden Hardy. Those three guys can really fill it up. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to play a massive role in this series. Same thing with Dante Exum. I just like that group better than I do the Boston group. I mean, Sam Hauser, yeah, he can really shoot the basketball, but he doesn't give you anything else. Yeah, Peyton Pritchard, kind of the same thing. He can really shoot it, but I don't think he's a scrappy. He's kind of just a scrappy defender. I would rather have Dallas's bench than Boston's, but
that's fair. Like that. That's why we have these conversations.
Yeah. I just think that the young talent there, Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, Derek Lively. I think that those guys just have those young legs right now, and Derek Lively II has been incredible in this playoff run. I know he got banged up in that game against Minnesota, but he came back in Game 5. Was pretty important to that team. Derek Lively's been big time. I think there wasn't there a point in this series during that Minnesota series where he hadn't missed a shot in over a couple games. Like it was 3 games in a row where he didn't miss a shot.
It was like going into game
3 or 4.
4. I think it was going into game.
He was out on game 4. He didn't play. He got hurt during game 3. I think before he got hurt, he hadn't missed a shot in the series at all.
Yeah. Before he got hurt, he missed a shot, which is. Everybody wants to say, like, hey, well,
I mean, he's only just dunking it, but, I mean, still.
We ain't finna sit here and like, folks don't miss, like, people miss dunks.
No, they do. But when you're getting set up with perfect shots, let's talk about the 2 stars. Let's just compare them to going head-to-head. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum for the Boston Celtics side of this, going up against Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. And it's also funny that, Kristaps Porzingis was in Dallas, Kyrie Irving was in Boston, and now they're on the opposite teams playing against each other in the finals. But talking about those 2 best players on both those 2 teams, who would you rather have for this series? Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or Luka and Kyrie?
Don't make me do that.
Oh, let's go.
Can you call it a wash? Can you call it an even wash?
No, you gotta make a choice.
You gonna be like that. You gonna make it. Oh, because I think because of the bigger body of work, because they've done it longer for a more and can more consistently, you kind of have to side with Tatum and Brown. Like they've been doing this thing since. I just saw something on Instagram. Like Jason Tatum's never missed the playoffs in his career.
I can see that.
Like he's never missed the playoffs. All right, so you add Jaylen Brown to that mix, and it's Tatum and Brown. Like what? Like just like what? Who would I rather have for this seat? Like who would I rather have? It's those two because they've done it longer. For like this is their second finals appearance as a unit. You get as a pairing. Like you get them. Like they've been to 6 conference finals, 2 finals. Yeah, give me them 2.
Yeah, I can't. Your rationale is there, but I'm going to go the other direction. I think the talent of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I still think that they're more talented, and I have more faith in those two guys.
The rationale, like my logically, I make sense. Logically,
yeah.
Like people will like if you want a logical argument, like people gonna side with me. If you want like a right now type argument, like what you're making, like, hey, yeah, give me Luka and Kyrie.
Swinging from the players, let's talk about the head coaches. We got Jason Kidd for the Dallas Mavericks, and we got Joel Mazzulla for the Boston Celtics. Jason Kidd, has never been to the NBA Finals as a head coach, but he did win one as a player. I'm not sure that matters at this point. But Joel Mazzulla went to the Finals 2 years ago. As the head coach. No, he didn't. He was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. He was the assistant to Ime Udoka when they went to the Finals 2 years ago. So
Jason Kidd has been to a total of, this is his 4th. Yeah, this is his 4th Finals. First as a coach, he's been to 3 as a player. He was on those, like he was the captain.
He was on those early net teams that went to the Finals. Yeah.
Back-to-back years, and they lost to the Spurs and they lost to the Lakers. They just lost to guys with better big men. That's it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It ain't much you can do when you going up when your big man is Kingdom Harden and the other guy's big man is David Robinson and Tim Duncan.
Should have been Shaq.
What you gonna do?
It's tough.
It's tough.
But anyways, back to the.
Give me Kidd, man. Like Kidd, although this is his first time as a head coach, Kidd's been there a lot more than what Mazzulla has. Give me advantage J Kidd.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jason Kidd too. I think he's been an outstanding coach. Like his ability to make adjustments on the fly. Joel Mazzulla really hasn't had to do a lot of that so far in the playoffs, and I think it'll be interesting when they finally are tested by a team that's at full strength.
Full strength. There you go.
For an entire series, or like knock on wood for an entire series. I'm gonna go Jason Kidd. I think he's been such a good coach for this team. Like the way he's implemented like PJ Washington to this roster, the way he's implemented the other players that they traded for in the trade deadline. It's been a textbook work of navigating the playoffs, and they've also been super battle tested. I mean, Dallas has gone through the the ringer to get here. So let's talk X factors. Before we get to our final prediction, who do you think is the X factor for the Boston Celtics and for Dallas?
It's the 2v2. It's the superstars got to be superstars on both teams. Tatum and Brown got to be special. Luka and Kyrie got to be special. There was what's that stat? What's that stat Izzy shared with us about Jason Tatum from 3? He's shooting like 28% or something terrible like that from 3. Yeah, keep shooting like that if you want to.
He's shooting at 29% from the 3-point line so far in this postseason. That's down from 38% in the regular season.
That's horrible.
You never want your playoff numbers percentage-wise to be down.
To drop.
Yeah, down. Ideally.
Wait, you said it's down from what, 38?
Yeah, 38% down. He's down to 29%. His shooting splits in the Pacers series was really bad. We're talking 27%, 14%, 25%. He did have a 50% game in Game 3, the game that he put up 36 points.
It's again, that's a 9% drop. It almost got to a point where Jason Tatum was open for 3, and it's like, oh man, you can have that shit. Please. I mean,
until you prove it that you can make it, I'm not guarding you out there.
Exactly.
So,
and like and you said something like, hey, this is gonna be, and we all said it, like it sucks that they were tested against Indiana like at all but one game. I think game 2 was the only game they blew their asses out, right?
Yeah.
Every other game was relatively close. And who knows, like Izzy brought it up all the time. Indiana should be up 3-1 right now. Well, they got swept 4-0. Shoulda,
coulda, woulda.
woulda. And
almost only counts in hand grenades and what are the horseshoes and hand grenades?
Mm-hmm. And hey, we can hate them all they want. It's not their fault. Jimmy Butler got hurt in the first round.
It's not their fault that
Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell got hurt.
Mitchell got hurt in the second round. Like, yeah, you can only play what they put in front of you. But I think my X factors are PJ Washington for the Dallas Mavericks. When he shoots the basketball well for Dallas, they play like a different basketball team. Like the confidence level of a PJ Washington. So the game that they lost. He shot at 22% for the 3-point line. That game 5, where the game 5 where they closed out, shoot 40%. He's probably their most important other guy that I think is going to be the X factor for the Dallas Mavericks. On the other side for Boston, I want to say it's Kristaps Porzingis, but I feel like that's a cop-out because he's quote-unquote a star, but he is the most important, the X factor for Boston. If he's able to play and give them something and stretch the floor and kind of impact the way that the Dallas Mavericks have played defense for this entire playoffs, that's huge.
No, you're right, though. You can make, we can't say no KP, no ring, and KP not be somebody's X factor. Right, like and it's not just us saying it here at the Prime. Like Stephen A. is saying that on First Take. Chris Broussard is saying that on First Things First at FS1. Like I'm pretty sure that's the talk. What they're saying on local radio in Boston. I'm pretty sure that's what Celtics fans are telling themselves. Like, hey, the guy we call the unicorn, the guy that's been called the unicorn, we need him. Like he's like the dynamic he brings is special. That being said, give me Dallas in 7. Why? Because think about it. We saw this Boston team kind of struggle with Andrew Nembhard. Like Andrew Nembhard was giving them buckets, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he was for sure was. I'm going Dallas in 6. I think Dallas wins this at home. I think it'll be tough to win in Boston. I was going to put home field advantage, but like, which of these two teams do you think has the better home court advantage? Like, you think it's harder to play in Boston or in Dallas?
The numbers say Dallas. The numbers say Boston's been like 500 at home in the playoffs the last handful of years, bro. Like the lore of
the Garden gets frantic. I think both of these are excellent home court advantages, but it's Boston. It's Boston.
How the Garden get frantic when you a 500 team at home in the playoffs?
It's the finals. They're gonna. It's the Garden.
How is it frantic when you're like how? It's look at the numbers. The Celtics are better on this playoffs. They're better on the road than they are at home. They're better on the road than they are at home. It's Dallas. It's Dallas.
But I'm just saying that because I think if this were to go to a 7-game series, I think the Dallas Mavericks would have a hard time winning in Boston. Although all time, so from 21 to 23, Boston is actually just under 500 at home in playoffs in the last 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But they were in the regular season. They were 37-4 at home.
No more. Ain't the regular season.
Captain Obvious over here just pointed out.
It's not Dallas tonight, Miami tomorrow, and then Philly 2-3 days later. It's Dallas tonight. Game 1 is gonna be Dallas in game 2. It's gonna be Jason Kidd's gonna we're gonna key in on that. We gonna switch this and XYZ. Now I understand that Missoula can turn around and do the same thing. I'm very interested on how they start. It wouldn't surprise me one iota if it's Jaylen Brown on Luka to start, and then Drew on Kyrie.
I agree. I think that they're 100% going to do that.
Because I think the one thing that Minnesota waited too late to do was put Anthony Edwards on Luke. And by that point, bro, you were already down.
Anthony Edwards is spent. Dallas so far this season is 7-2 on the road. So far this year, while they've gone 5-3 at home this postseason alone. The Garden is a better home field advantage. I mean, home court advantage. That's just my honest opinion about it. But I'm taking Dallas, man. I'm taking them in 6 games. I think if this goes 7, Boston will win. But yeah, that's been our NBA Finals preview. Thank you very much for checking it out. We're going to swing into the UFL tomorrow and do the breakdown of the full week of the regular season, along with preview the playoff matchups next week. By the way, a really good weekend of UFL action. I don't know how much you got to watch, but man, it was really good football.
I didn't watch. I wasn't
almost every game. Almost every game came down to the wire. Outside of that, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So,
all right. So, like, real quick before we get back, hypothetical, like, are you in agreement with me and Izzy if Boston doesn't win this thing? Like, you gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta. Yeah,
I think you explore it. I'm not sure. I don't think it has to be something you for sure do. But yeah, I think you for sure explore it. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World.
I like that. I like that rationale. Like, I'll explore it. Like,
I mean, you should at least every offseason that your team doesn't hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy, you should at least explore options to how to improve your roster.
Every team ain't Boston. Every team ain't had the success they've had, as I've said before. Like, you can't keep knocking on the door and then not walking in.
But yeah, this has been Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We'll be back here tomorrow. And if you hadn't noticed, we have finally eclipsed over 1,000 episodes of the Prime. So expect a big Prime celebration, 1,000 episode show, either this weekend or next. We're going to play some games, have some fun with it. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you very much for supporting us through 1,000 episodes here at Prime Sports World. I'm David Huppin, TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, kind sir.
Yes, sir. You have a good night, man. Stay safe. I will talk to you tomorrow.
See ya, man.
Peace, brother.